So check this out, everybody. I'm sitting up there watching the Adam 22 No Jumper podcast of him interview Maino. And Maino brought up that on his podcast, they were the first ones to bring cooking to the podcast where they feed the guests. Now keep in mind now, Maino, he started podcasting around about 4 or 5 years ago during the pandemic. Is when he started doing the podcast. But he had the nerve to tell Adam 22 that he was the first podcast to bring the food and cooking to the podcast. When everybody knows 8, 9 years ago when I first started podcasting, I was the only podcast and the podcast that brought cooking and feeding the guests to the show. That's why it's called the Kickback Podcast Show. So any of these content creators, these podcast hosts, they're saying they were the first ones to bring the cooking and feeding the guests to the podcast. That's some bullshit lie. Maino, you know you weren't the one that came up with that idea. And so here's the thing about it. You celebrities, you rappers and stuff, you watch us small time shows and you steal our ideas and you come up with the idea and you bring the idea to your show and make it seem like you created this shit when you really stole it from somebody that's in the lower class from you. You motherfuckers stop believing these goddamn celebrities. They stole everything they got from somebody that's lower than them. Maino, you're not the first podcaster to bring cooking to your podcast. So stop with the line. It's documented on my channel that I was the only podcast in the podcaster that created cooking on the show for the guests. I'm out like a fat kid in dodgeball. It's your boy Cuddy J. Y'all hit the subscribe button.